I'd like to welcome everybody to the December 21st meeting of the Middletown Board of Education. Will you please lead us in the flag salute? And
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
if you could all remain standing, we have some moments of silence tonight, unfortunately. The first moment of silence this evening is for James Thomas Versethen. Mr. Versethen was a teacher, elementary teacher here for many years. He worked with Mr. Del Moro at Truman Moon for a good part of his career. Mr. Versethen also served his country in the U.S. Navy, patrolling the waters of Vietnam. As a teacher and a coach, he was very well respected by students and staff members in the district. As a matter of fact, some students said that he was their favorite teacher. The next moment of silence is for Harold L. Halcott. Mr. Halcott, a custodian at the Academy Avenue School for a good portion of his career. Well-liked by staff and students. He was always ready to do that little bit of extra for people. And the third moment of silence this evening is for Yvonne DeSimone. Now, Yvonne DeSimone was not a member of the district per se. However, Yvonne did a great deal of work for this district in many ways. A graduate of Middletown High School, Miss MHS, graduate 1959. She raised money for the uniforms for our marching band. She helped organize the Ruthie Dino Marshall 5K run walk when she was at the YMCA. She used to do a great deal of charity for her students. She bought food for students in need. And in addition to that, she paid a number of bills. She spoke to me, and it was also in the paper, a local veterinarian would not release a child's dog around at Christmas until the bill was paid in full. So Vonnie went over and she paid the entire bill, which was considerable. This is the kind of person she was. She always thought about the Middletown School District. This district came first to Yvonne DeSimone. So all of these individuals contributed one way or the other to the district, and they will be missed. Thank you so much.
Just before we start out, for the board members, you'll see actually a copy of a newspaper, Times Herald Record back in 20, the date actually was February 12, 2005. And the purpose of that is to remind us all, you know, the concept if you forget history, you can't improve. For anybody who would like a copy of this, I'll walk around and give you this. This was where we were back in 2004 and 2005. And when you read this and now consider where we are as a school district in 2017, it really gives a dynamic view of how much this district has improved and we've progressed. And that's because of our residents, our staff, and our Board of Education really focusing very tight on our students and making sure that we did the right things to get get through all of this. The other thing that I do every budget season is also remind people that everything our kids have, remember this, as a per pupil cost, we are below the state average, and we're almost $1,000 less than a typical school cost per pupil. So not only have we been able to move this district forward, we've been able to do it at a very cost-efficient rate and been very respectful of our citizens and their tax dollars. So I wanted to put that on here. You really need to read this to remember where we were and where we are today. And the reason I did this is a lot of people didn't really understand where we came from, for a better term, to get where we are today. And when you show that to them, this article actually, which is actually one of 3 that occurred over a 6-month period, it really gives a sense of how far we have come as a school district. So what I'll do, yeah, Kevin, if you want. If anybody wants one, just raise your hand, or Kevin will give that to you. Read that, and then, as I said, reflect on where we are today, and you'll see how much of a change the district really is. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Eastwood. Mr. Pierre, would you please read the mission of the school district?
Have to log back in. I have it.
Technical difficulty.
Thank you. We strive to provide physically sound educational opportunities in a safe environment that continuously supports our diverse student population, who will enable all students to graduate, to reach their full potential, to become lifelong learners, and to be competitive, productive members of society.
Thank you, Mr. Pierre. Ms. Clark, could you please call the roll?
Mrs. Blumenau? Here. Mr. Crescenzo? Mr. Gomez? Mrs. Knapp? Here. Mr. Carino?
Here.
Mr. Pierre?
Here.
Mr. Tobiassen?
Here.
Pastor Logan?
Here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clark. Asking for approval of the agenda. Motion to approve.
Second.
Did you get that, Mrs. Clark? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Approval of the regular minutes of December 6, 2017.
Second.
Any discussion?
My only discussion, Mr. Carino, would be, could you do all 3 of them together, or you want to do them separately for a reason?
I'd like to do these separately for a reason.
Okay.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to approve a special meeting of December 11th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to approve a special meeting minutes December 18th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? And
Aye.
was there any discussion on that? No. Any opposed? Now, the reason I wanted to do these separately, I wanted to speak about the special meetings. And the special meetings, executive session, involved the search for a new superintendent. Dr. Eastwood submitted his letter of retirement to the board on October 26th of this year. This search is proceeding in a very orderly and precise manner, and it's proceeding with deliberate speed. Carefully, we're proceeding carefully. The first thing we would be doing, firstly, will we be naming an interim superintendent at the January 3rd, 2018 school board meeting, and then she will be able to pick an assistant superintendent. Secondly, we have been working with Dr. Robert Chrisman of the New York State Leadership Group. Dr. Chrisman has 22 years of experience as a superintendent, 46 years in education, has served as executive director of the Western New York Education Service Council at the University of Buffalo. Additionally, Dr. Chrisman has served as president of the New York State Council of School Superintendents and on the governing board of the American Association of School Administrators. He has been involved and is involved in numerous searches, including Clarkstown, Jamestown, Rochester City School District, Albany City School District, Wenatchee Union Free School District, and currently involved in a search in the Roundout Valley Central School District. And he's also associated with Dr. Coppola, and Dr. Coppola, you may or may not remember, brought us Dr. Eastwood to interview. Thirdly, we're looking for an exceptional instructional leader who can carry out and embellish the programs began by this administration and by Dr. Eastwood, affected by our administrators and our superb staff. And this has been, so to speak, codified at the November 16th meeting, in which the board adopted a 5-year plan of action on November 16th. You know, it boils down to this. The superintendent sets the course of action and sees that all ships are sailing in the same direction. I know perfectly well it's up to the building administrators and the staff to affect the programs. I've been around long enough to know this. But you have to have a strong instructional leader at the top. Finally, we will be establishing focus groups in the very near future. As a matter of fact, we've been working very hard on this, and the letters for the focus groups will be going out January 2nd, 2018. They'll include a variety of members, stakeholders from not only the educational community, but the general community. Plans are for Dr. Chrisman to address not only the board, but the public, because we have met with him at the January 17th Board of Education meeting. And you might say, well, the board meeting was scheduled for January 18th. Well, there'll be an action resolution this evening to move that to the 17th, because on the 18th, Dr. Chrisman will begin meeting with the focus groups. As a matter of fact, most of these will meet in this building, Presidential Park, Conference Room 199. And finally, again, just remember that when Dr. Eastwood was hired, 3 members of this board were present and are now present. Mrs. Knapp, Mr. Crescenzo, and myself. So there's a good chance we're going to get a very strong instructional leader. We're not going to settle in this case. We want the best person for the children of this district to continue the programs and enhance the programs of this district. And I just want to read a couple of quotes. And when I say the programs of this district, Dr. Kayla Jackson, president of the American Association of School Administrators, she came down for a pre-fuel, what's now called the pre-fuel program, and Lauren Burr and Debbie Delaney, who are here tonight, are going to speak about that. We were given a grant of money for this, and here's a quote. Visiting the Middletown City School District was one of the most impressive site visits we have done in the 25 years involved in working with schools. One of the most impressive site visits. Michael Horn, one of the foremost national education experts, Dr. Horn, and researchers specializing in educational innovation. Quote, I had the privilege of spending time in the enlarged city school district of Middletown, New York, with its visionary superintendent, Dr. Ken Eastwood, a longtime partner of Education Elements. The district has implemented blending learning across the schools in a thoughtful and deliberate way over the past few years. But what stood out to me wasn't the technology in the buildings. It was a consistent culture in every single classroom I visited. Consistent culture. That's important. A frequent refrain from some school districts, blended learning leaders, is that they cannot replicate charter school models with coherent cultures throughout the classrooms, because in a district school, each teacher has significant autonomy to create his or her own classroom environment. Regulations and work rules, leaders say, inhibit the ability to create a school with one strong culture as opposed to, say, 24 distinct ones in each classroom. Walking through Maple Hill Elementary School blew the notion to shreds. From classroom to classroom, the models were the same and the culture was strong, tight, and consistent. Routines were crisp, students understood expectation, and at all ages could articulate not just what they were working on, but often why. I could never tell whether I was in a classroom with struggling or accelerated students. Each had a plan personalized to his or her needs, with teachers who were working hard in small group settings. And that's what we say. We personalize education. We don't standardize it. The principal, Amy Creedon, is often found in the classroom supporting her teachers. In fact, support is a very ingrained part of the culture in Middletown. It was clear that the district developed a comprehensive whole district rollout plan for blended learning with considerable professional development and co-design sessions with teachers involving all stakeholders in the planning from the get-go was the key. I bet to creating a consistent culture that laid the foundations for the strong results the district has seen with students in blended learning classrooms. Are you going to have problems? Sure. You're running 7,200 students here and about, 1,000 employees? I mean, there's bound to be some problems here or there. It's how you resolve these problems. You have to deal with these problems. So I read this because this is our challenge, to find someone of the caliber of Dr. Kenneth Eastwood. Not going to be easy to do. We're competing with districts in Westchester and Rockland County. And I'll end it there. Dr. Eastwood, do you have anything to say?
No, I think that I said it earlier. You know, the reason I have this newspaper article out really we teach it in history. If you are not aware of history or the history of a particular thing, and in our case, our school district history, the cliche is that you're bound to repeat it. And I think that that's why it's important to see where we were and where we are to make sure that we collectively are working very hard and focusing on staying where we are and growing further, which is important for our kids. This district, I've been in many schools. I've consulted in many schools, and I will tell you that this district is very, very focused on taking care of its kids. And there are a number of facts to demonstrate that, such as during the 13 and a half years that I've been here, we've never lost a referendum. The parents and the community have been out supporting us. And you know what? We paid them in recognitions of this school district back, meaning that for every dollar they gave us, we probably have taken that dollar and grown it by 10 or 20. The fact that we've been able to do $190 million of capital projects and raise the tax levy for capital projects on an average household of only $10 demonstrates that. The fact that we are below the average per pupil cost demonstrates that. So, you know, some people say, well, you had that big grant. Well, we had the big grant, but it was only 2% of our budget, and it was stretched over 4 years. The fact of the matter was we managed that grant, and the public has supported the continuation of the programs inside that grant. So it is this community's focus that makes this district strong, along with its staff. I have a real sincere motto about the fact is that the implementers, the teachers, the parents, and the administration, and the rest of our staff, those implementers are really the heroes here. We can set visions, goals, but if they're not carried out, it's meaningless. And what Michael Horn, Dr. Horn, has said here is that he sees that in every one of our classes, which makes our district very unique. And Dr. Horn is in hundreds of districts on an annual basis. He knows what he's talking about. And he singled out Middletown to be identified as an example of, folks, you can do this. Here is an example. Which is why we get visited by, last year, over 100 school districts coming in to see what's going on here. And I think that the community wants to continue that. They want to continue the programs we're having. They want to make sure that the high school continues to have its free college courses, because what's happening now, more and more kids are taking college. They're taking the challenge on, and they're meeting those expectations, those very high expectations. This is the kind of school district you want. And I will tell you, from past experience, as soon as you inject politics into education, and this is serious, you end up destroying the education. And you don't want somebody who's going to be good politically, per se. You want somebody who's going to be an educational leader, an instructional leader that understands what it takes to get the job done. And as you go through the process, you want to stay focused on that rather than unique attributes of people. Did they do this? Do they meet these criteria? If not, move them aside. And that's why you're going to have those focus groups. That's why you're going to have a lot of conversations with Dr. Chrisman about what type of attributes do you want for this person. And once you identify them, stick to them. Don't let the politics drive you in a different direction. Because it's our kids. You remember, it's our kids. So I'm only telling you because I'm an old horse. As they say, I'm going out to pasture soon. And the long and short of it is, I think the history that I've seen about schools doing well or not are good examples. And they need to be kept. And we're a great public school that beats the odds. And you want to keep that going.
You know, I've noticed something. As I said, Dr. Eastwood submitted his letter at October 26th to us. But there'd be some individuals who would say, well, I'll just sit back and I won't do too much until I retire and then goodbye. But no, he is interested in what happens to this district after he retires. And he'll do anything to see that we succeed as a district. So, again, thank you for all the years of your service. Now we come to a very, very pleasant part of the meeting, and it's the recognitions, announcements, and community reports, and we have a very special recognitions tonight. We have 2 Eagle Scouts, graduates of Middletown High School, and we wanted to have them on a bit before, but we could not because they're both in college. And the Scoutmaster's there, Mr. Fedina, and parents are there this evening. So why don't you come on up to the mic, everybody, and just talk about a little bit about your project, introduce yourselves.
Okay, well, I'm Joseph Grazioso. I turned Eagle in May of this year. And my project was to create a bunch of items, ramps and tunnels and things to put into the new dog park by Maple Hill and Monhagen. That went very well. We went way under budget, which is great. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Logan Sullivan. I turned Eagle in March of this year. My Eagle project was to insulate the floors of 2 cabins at a youth camp. It went pretty well, except for that we were working with insulation that could cause irritation to the skin at times.
Logan and Joe, could you tell us what you're doing now? I know you both have very interesting, Mike, you're in what school now?
I am attending Paul Smith College up in the Adirondacks. Yes. But I am attending for natural resource conservation and management. I intend, after I graduate, to get into the forestry service.
Well, currently I am at SUNY Orange. My major at SUNY Orange is liberal arts of math and science, but that's because they don't have what I want to do, which is digital forensics. So after my 2 years, I'm going to transfer to John Jay and finish there.
Congratulations for you. Congratulations to both of you.
Hello, I'm Jim Fedina, the Scoutmaster, Troop 169 out of Middletown, New York. I've been Scoutmaster since 2009. I'm still going strong. Getting a little old and tired, but we're going there. But as you can see by the 2 guys behind me, they're part of the 16 Eagle Scouts that I've been put through my tenure as Scoutmaster. And they can attest that it is a hard program to continue and to achieve this rank. And with all the distractions that kids have nowadays, that, I congratulate them both on achieving that, because there was a lot of work that they had to do to get to this stage. And I hope that, between the Middletown School District Board of Education and their careers in the scouting program will help them further continue on and do good things for our community and America.
Thank you very much. We have certificates. Thank you very much. And before I present these certificates, I'd just like to say that we have another Eagle Scout here in the audience, and that's Mr. Thomas Hunt. And Tom is a second generation, and his son is third generation, and his dad, who I worked with in the fire company, active in Excelsior's first generation Eagle Scout. And you know, that's something you'll take with you your whole life. You'll be proud of that your entire life. And so now we're going to present you with some certificates, and we're going to snap your photo. How's that? Ken, you want to come on? Dr. Eastwood, you want to come on? Fast Bishop Williams. That's Joseph Grazioso. And Logan Sullivan. Nice job. Great job. Come on, we're going to take your photo. Now we'll proceed with the board recognitions. And why don't we start with Mr. Pierre? Thank you again for coming.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, President Perino. I don't have any recognitions. Just like to wish everyone here and at home Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year.
And Lou, I know your sons were in a number of the concerts, and I saw you there attending.
Oh, yes, I was at the most recent one the other night with Presidential Park. That was a very nice concert. Had a great time. The kids did a very good job.
At Presidential Park, and that was
at the high school.
Right. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for being there too, Mrs. Knapp.
Just that this is the time for many concerts that we've had in the last couple of weeks around. We try to share our visits with all the concerts, but they all do such a good job. It's nice to hear that at this time of year. Thank you.
Mrs. Tobiassen.
Thank you, Mr. Perino. I attended the Monhegan sixth grade concert, and I have to say the students did a great job. Lots of activities going on over there. The week before they had the talent show. Phenomenal job. The talent that we have in this district is remarkable. And I have to echo what Board Member Lou had to say. You know, I want to wish everyone a very healthy and happy holiday season. For some folks out there, it is a difficult time, so just remember all our fellow men at this time of year, and I know that there's been many organizations here that have helped some very needy families, whether it be through the church groups, some of the other civics groups, to make sure that everyone is rewarded at this time of year. So I want to say thank you to all those groups that have helped, and again, my sincerest wishes for a very good and healthy new year. Thank you.
Well, I missed the concerts. Was traveling, handling family business. I do want to say, firstly, though, I do want to thank everybody for their condolences on the passing of my father-in-law. Mr. Perino, in the last meeting, made mention of him, and we had just landed in Memphis, and we were in the car watching online, and had my mother-in-law watching online from Little Rock. And so we just wanted to say thank you for all your thoughts and your prayers for us as we traveled out there to say our final goodbyes to my father-in-law. Happened to miss some of the concerts during that time, so we weren't able to be there, unfortunately. But I did get back. Want to congratulate the Middletown boys basketball team on Tuesday night. They did not win the game, but they played an excellent game against a very stacked and very strong Pine Bush team, and there's great progress there. And I know most people would say, you either win or you lose, but the truth of the matter is that I enjoy watching progress, whatever it is. I like to win too, but I enjoy seeing the progress of the team. And so I want to congratulate them on a well-fought battle with a very strong team, one that is favored to be the champions this year. They did very well coming back from 16 to cutting it down to 5, so they did a good job. And I want to commend the staff that worked that game as well. It was really quite crowded in there, quite crowded. We literally were probably about 100 folks outside the building that could not get in. So they did a good job at managing everything and keeping everything going strong. So congratulations to them. And I do want to finally wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa, and a very Happy New Year. Godspeed to each and every one of you. May the wind always be at your back, and may you enjoy heaven's best blessings during this season. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop Williams. Well said. Mrs. Blumenau.
Just want to wish everybody a very happy holiday, a very happy New Year, much needed vacation for everybody, I'm sure. And just stay safe, stay warm, come on back. See you in like a week and a half.
Last again. But not least. Yeah. Mr. Gomez and I attended the Common Council meeting on Tuesday to give them an update on our superintendent search. Excuse me. It was a busy night in the Common Council. The Middletown Youth Football League, our team, Middletown team, won every event they played, and they also won their Super Bowl. So they were recognized that night. They had a really beautiful trophy and everything. And also Jeff Berkman was honored. That was his term is over the end of this month after 20 years as a county legislator, and they gave him the key to the city, which was very impressive. So we gave them an update and assured them that the plan phase is over and that we're starting now to put together the focus groups. And we realize now that there are a lot of people that want to be involved with this. So the community group is going to be at least 2 groups and not 1. And with that in mind, we assured the Common Council that we will accept 2 members from the council, not they had initially wanted a number of members there. So they're going to pick who they want, and they'll be part of the focus group. And I don't remember when we talked about this, but I think the Pine Bush District brought up a ward system for boards of education. It would be set up similar to what we have here in Middletown with the Common Council. It was sponsored by Aileen Gunther and Bill Larkin, and it passed both houses in Albany, but Governor Cuomo vetoed it. And he said the bill, in theory, was well written, but he felt that there wasn't enough protection in there for excluding people or some bias or what have you. So I don't know exactly how it works in Albany, if it's dead, completely dead, or they need to go back and revisit it. But it would have been an interesting topic for this Board of Education if it ever came up. And if it did pass, in order for it to pass within a school district, it had to go to a referendum. So the voters, taxpayers would vote if they wanted a ward system or not. But for the moment, it's dead. And I'd like to wish everybody a healthy and happy holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, spend a lot of family time. We have a brand new granddaughter that's celebrating her first Christmas. We're looking forward to that. And unrelated to the school district, hopefully 2018 is going to be a better year. I'm going to push 2017 aside, and I'm going to open up my eyes on the first of 2018, and we're going to push forward. So thank you very much, and enjoy the holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Crescenzo. It's pretty tough to follow your act, my boy. We're going to try.
I'm sorry, I forgot something. Kevin Gomez is not here tonight, and he asked me to tell the public that the Fair Funding Committee will meet at the board office on the 16th of January at 4:30. So that's fair funding, the second week in January, the 16th at 4:30 at the board office. Thank you. They're going to discuss the goals and objectives at that time.
Thank you very much again, Mr. Crescenzo. I'm going to be brief. I was going to speak in length about the food service, but you're here and you're going to do that. I just wanted to congratulate not only the director, Debbie Delaney, but the assistant director, Lauren Burr, and the associate in the office, Sue Washburn, and every single member of your food service staff, because everybody had pitched in to make this pre-fuel program a success. As a matter of fact, one of your members of your staff is retiring, Nadine Williams, at the Maple Hill School, and I had Nadine as a student. Yes, I did. She was a good student and excellent basketball player, as I remember. Speaking along those lines, Glennis Foglia, who handles the No Kid Hungry program and picks up during the weekends where we sort of have to leave off, she said she is now handling 81 backpacks. 81. A few years ago, it was 16. So congratulations to her and the Lions Club. That takes a lot of work to obtain all that food and pack it up and deliver this. And she also mentioned they've picked up Truman Moon, and she likes working with our newest administrator, that's Nicole Tagney. So good for her. And Luis Garcia, the chess master at the high school, a Spanish teacher, he did a nice job organizing a tournament. And it's kind of a nice thing to go over and see because it's sort of a little different than concerts and sporting events, and it's really nice. Finally, shout out to the PTO president of Truman Moon, Justine Schwab. They had quite a nice event with a bake sale and a movie a short time ago, and I am done because I have more, but I want to get through the meeting as quickly as possible. So, without any more further ado, let's go on. Any letters to be read, Mrs. Clark? All right, no letters. Now let's go back to opportunity to address the board. And then we're going to go back, we're going to handle the superintendent's report. Will take care of you in the food service, okay? Any opportunities to address the board? Remember, you have 4 minutes. We don't respond, we come back with answers. Mr. Warren, I see you in the audience. You know, you're going to be invited to a focus group, so you want to get up here and practice now? Anybody? Okay, thank you. Go on to personnel action items. Any objection to approving 13A, 13B, and 13C together? May I have a motion to approve? You get that? That's you'd be good handling bids at an auction, Mrs. Clark. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously passes. We have any introductions of personnel tonight, Mr. D? No. Okay, we don't. All right. Now we come to the superintendent's report, which is a food service update. So come on up and do your thing. And I see you wheeling something up there. It looks like it's
We're on the move.
you're on the move. Pre-fuel is on the move.
Got my water this time too. We're ready, yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Perino and Dr. Eastwood, for having us this evening. We're here to share with you a few updates that's going on in our food and nutrition services. So,
we would like to introduce our Middies Meals on the Move marketing initiative, and this includes our Middies Pre-Fuel and our Middies Refuel programs. There's our logo again, so we were working on that. We actually got that together fairly recently. Actually, on the slides here, you have photos of options that we've offered in our school this month. So we're refocusing on our fresh fruits, our fresh vegetables. So students are provided a variety of these options daily. Smiling at you in the corner over there, we have our snowman and our moose cupcakes, which are made campus in-house at our Central Prep Bakery under the direction of our executive chef, Mike Milan.
I know I got too many here. So with that much said, let's talk a little bit about some statistics. When we were here last, we made a commitment to grow our program, and we were looking to have a 25% increase in our breakfast distribution and a 13% increase in our lunch distribution. While Lauren was speaking about our lovely moose and snowman, we passed out some pre-fuel. These are our samples of some of the items that are available in our Breakfast in the Classroom program. So, did we make the goal or not? Right now, we're looking at 111% increase in our breakfast participation and 15% increase in our lunch. Ready? So we talk about the gap. One of the other things we wanted to address was the summer program and our after-school program, in which we worked with our Parks and Recreation Department, the Middletown YMCA, and our own athletic department. And we were able to outreach significantly over the summer and after school. I forgot to double.
We also had a great event this fall at Maple Hill, and this was really the kickoff session to our pre-fuel. We had some great guest speakers there. Kathleen McCrossan from the American Dairy Council. She invited a local dairy farmer, Chris Van Aken, and the focus was really on the importance of nutrition and making it a fun message for our students. So if you do want to check out an event video, that's available on our district website on the food service page.
Funding. So how does the funding work? We had a great opportunity to apply for 2 grants, one through the AASA grant, which is the Superintendent's Association grant, in which we were awarded $155,000 for infrastructure items, as well as Action for Healthy Kids mini grants, which will focus on student outreach and infrastructure items such as the vending machines at the high school, the kiosks in the middle school, and a meal packing system. So where are we going from here? From here, our most immediate improvement will come through our vending machines, which we are in the pike right now, working with technology and Mrs. Sorrentino to get the vending machines up and running, hopefully by Valentine's Day. Working on broadening our web-based technology with our Infinite Campus Finance Department and our menu mosaic, increasing our after-school day meal options and some infrastructure renovations that are coming. So if you had a chance to take a look at your pre-fuel bags that you get, oh, you're eating the cheese stick. We love them.
Yes.
Well, how many?
My favorite.
How many we have today? We probably had 4 or 5 of them today alone. The cheese sticks. What do you have? Good. We didn't mention the, yeah. So were there any questions or any thoughts that you wanted to share?
Why don't we do this? Let's go around the table. Mr. Crescenzo, you start us off. There you go.
Yay.
There you go. Yeah, what can I say? You've more than met the goals that you set for yourself, and I mean, the proof is there. It's just amazing that we can provide this type of service for our children and our students. It's just one, I don't want to call it a small piece, but it's a piece of the huge puzzle that makes the whole thing come together and makes our students, or helps our students perform at a much higher rate. So thank you very much for your insight and your motivation and all the energy you put into this. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Mrs. Blumenau, go ahead.
You want to say it one more time? Mrs. Blumenau. Thank you so much. It's amazing. I think that as parents, the most important thing I remember when my kids were little was trying to find things that they would eat that would help them carry them through the day because, they start very, very early.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're like, throwing something in their mouth as they're jumping on the bus. This is tremendous. What's the response that we're getting from parents and the kids?
Overall, there's a great sense of incorporation. They feel part of a larger picture, and as we address the students as a whole, it's just been wonderful. We've had several opportunities to observe in the classroom participation, the middle schoolers, the high schoolers. We're looking forward to the vending machines because that's going to be our next puzzle.
And the kids are eating the food. They're not.
The kids are
it's
consuming
not
the meals.
ending up in the garbage. It's great.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Pierre, go ahead.
Thank you very much, ladies. You're doing a very, very good job. A good breakfast is a great way to start the day for anyone, especially the children going to school, and a great lunch during the day is an awesome way to refuel and pick up where they left off to continue the day. I try to get my kids every morning to have breakfast at the schools, but they prefer to have breakfast at home, but
We're here when you need us, so.
But thank you very much for a great job. You guys are doing a
You're
really good
welcome.
job. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Mrs. Knapp?
I think I had mentioned when we first came up with this, when you came up with this project, what a great idea. Like Paula said, that we start the kids off at 6:30 in the morning. They go to school all day. Lunch is sometimes at 11 o'clock. And then after school at 3 o'clock, they're expected to do their athletic events or whatever they're participating in. And there's no refueling until they get home.
Right.
With the 5:30 bus. So we're talking over 12 hours. And I know that the project was a huge success with the track team because they would be out running and they could come into the concession stand and the food is in there in a cooler and they're allowed to take a whatever sample for the day. And it really helps them, as you say, get refueled, and they're able to continue, and they don't go home starving, they don't pass out, they're not exhausted. And there's always there's always water for them to drink, but the juice or something makes it an excellent program. And I'm thrilled with it. I wish they would have had it when my kids were in school. And the main thing is, I think I still have problems with my girls understanding you need to have breakfast. You need to jumpstart, And you would think they're grown now. They should know better. But it just doesn't work that way all the time. And so if it's there and they're able to get it easily, they're going to eat something. Might not be a big meal, but even if they eat a bar or something to get started. So, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Tobiassen.
Just want to say an excellent job. I'm so proud of what you're doing.
Bishop Williams, go ahead.
You two are really already the perfect team. So you're a good team, and I enjoy watching you work together too. Again, kudos on this program. It's really great. As everyone already knows, I have 3 kids in the district, so it's good that when they can't, when they're rushing, because we get up very early in my house, and so when they oversleep a little bit and they're rushing, it's good for them to be able to know that they can get to the school and get something to start them on their day. And I was noticing something, even at the high school level, we have the lunches, and Mrs. Knapp said about the lunches starting at 11 o'clock, but even one of the lunch periods is a very late lunch period, and so you go all day long. If you haven't had breakfast, you're going all day long without eating anything. So that's why this is such a great program. And I have to say, I was very impressed. I thought I was going to get milk, and when I looked and saw it was apple juice, it just made me very happy. I don't want milk.
There's milk in there.
I don't. I'm very, very happy with my apple juice. Very, very happy with my apple juice. And so my daughter won't drink milk, but she will drink apple juice. So thank you, kudos,
welcome.
And keep up the good work.
Mrs. Knapp, go ahead.
I think I left it on. Sorry. So I just wanted to add something else to that. As everyone knows, we have a concession stand at the football games, and they were really helpful to us this year. It's very hard to keep things cold, especially in the spring, but mainly in the fall. When it first starts out with football, it's still hot. So they were able to give us the refrigerator truck. We have a beautiful cooler and refrigerator. It's just wonderful. And it really, I think we're working well together. Maybe in the spring we'll go a little bit more healthier with the track kids, but not a lot of football kids want cheese and but I'm working on it.
How's the soup? Soup's good.
Soup is excellent. Oh my goodness. They make soup for us in the, I'm not sure, I can't remember who makes it.
Central Prep Executive Chef Mike does it.
Yep. Makes soup for us. We put it in the crock pots and everybody raves about them. And we're like, oh, yep, we got soup. And it saves me from doing it. But no, we've worked very well together, and I look forward to doing it in the future.
Maybe if you're real lucky, Mrs. Knapp might give you someday her secret chili
Oh, chili recipe.
recipe. Joe's secret chili recipe.
Poor
You know,
Joe.
she has her dog Abby guarding that recipe, so you might be lucky. A couple of observations or questions. I understand that you're enhancing the breakfast program. You're changing this. Could you just speak about that for a moment?
Correct. Based on some customer feedback and desires of our staff as well, down there at the end with Paula is the rollout, the hot pancake breakfasts. Hot breakfast will be back every Wednesday.
When we come back from break.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
They're
They're
really
minis.
cool. You
They're
eat them like a
minis.
potato chip. You open up the bag and you stick your hand in there.
They're
There's,
minis.
yeah, open it up. Nope, they're a bread, so we put them right in that bag, right in the oven, and they can hold temperature for quite a period of time. The last test was about almost 90 minutes that they can hold temperature in this insulated bag with it going in and out. But you open it up, you eat it like a potato chip. You just open the bag and eat it with your finger. No muss, no fuss, very classroom friendly. Where do we buy those? In U.S. Foods. You can buy them from us, too. We have pancakes and waffles, French toast. We have the pancakes came out. We also did a test on the turkey sausage pancake on a stick. It looks similar to a corn dog. It's in its own individually wrapped package that you cook in, and the kids can help themselves on that. And the older kids really liked it. They liked it a lot. And what's the third one?
We also have the whole grain mini cinnamon bagels that are going to roll out in the third week in January. So we're going to do a hot item every Wednesday at our elementaries.
Again, we all thank you for being here, and thank you, and the foods, all your staff, for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's it.
Thank you.
Nice work.
There you go.
Here, John, take this home to the kids. Okay, thank you again, and now we'll proceed to the financial memorandum. Motion to approve financial memorandum number 15 as presented. Any discussion? Now, we've had these for the whole week, so all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Now we come to some of the action items, and I think if there's no objection, I'm going to just read these, and then we can adopt these 8 action items together. Can we do that? Any objection? I hear none. Item 1, approval of proposal for professional services with Insight Engineering, Surveying, and Landscaping. We did this? Okay. All right, so we're done with that. Thank you.
Make sure you read
All right. Number D, I will when we get to that. Yes, thank you. Okay. Special Service Memorandum, motion to approve Special Service Memorandum 12 as presented.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Anybody opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the Enlarged City School District and the Middletown Educational Clerical Association as presented.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion Passes unanimously. Next, we have the long-awaited approval of Memorial School Resolution, and I'm going to read this. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, the Board hereby directs that the proceeds from the sale of the Memorial School in the amount of $188,000 be deposited into the district's general fund, and be it further resolved that the Board prospectively authorizes and directs the transfer of a corresponding sum of $188,000 from surplus funds remaining in the district's unassigned fund balance at the conclusion of the 2017-2018 fiscal year ending June 30th, 2018, or so much of this sum as available as a surplus fund into the district's capital reserve fund, and be it further resolved that the above described transfer may occur at any time after the amount of surplus funds in the district's unassigned fund balance as of January 30th, 2018 has been calculated and ascertained with reasonable certainty, provided that the transfer shall occur prior to the issuance of the district's tax levy for the 2018-2019 school year. May I have a motion to accept this? Second on this? Any discussion?
I just think it's very important to just cut to the chase on this. Basically, the money that came into the district from Memorial sale go into the capital reserve, which will help offset expenditures for any capital improvements that the district has in the future.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We've been working on this for years, trying to sell this building. Thank you. Motion to approve the 2017-2018 board meeting calendar as presented. The change, right. That's moving the second. Any discussion? Yeah, I thought I'd explained it at the, when I talked about Dr. Chrisman coming, but I'll explain it again. Dr. Chrisman is going to be here on the 17th to address not only the board but the public on the procedure and dates for obtaining applications and appointing a new superintendent. On the 18th and 19th, he will be meeting with focus groups. And the focus groups include, as I mentioned, a wide segment of the community, both in and out of school. One group is the past presidents, board presidents, which Mr. Warren will most definitely be invited. Your letter is almost in the mail, Andy. Other groups include students, community members, administrative staff, teachers, and all. There are 9 groups. So we have a very broad spectrum here. So that's the reason for the change of the meeting. We obviously wanted Dr. Chrisman to address the board and the public before he met with the focus groups to give an idea of what's going on specifically. Any other questions? Did we had a motion? Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Another agenda item. Motion to approve of the legal counsel's clarification of paragraph 19 of Dr. Eastwood's contract, which we discussed. Motion to approve legal counsel's clarification of paragraph 19 as presented. Any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Second opportunity to address the board. Any takers? With some of the young people in the audience, would you like to come up and say something? You're here for a course requirement, am I correct on that?
Participation in government.
Participation in government. Thank you for being here.
Did you sign already?
We appreciate it.
Did you sign for them already?
Any takers? Committee reports, as Mr. Crescenzo mentioned, the Fair Funding Committee, Mr. Gomez will have the message. We'll be meeting Tuesday, January 16th, 4:30 at the Board of Education to discuss goals and objectives. Any other committee reports this evening? Anything new and compelling?
I got something.
Go ahead, Mr. C.
Dr. Eastwood, July 2011, you and I drove to Boston and got on our bicycles and rode 270 miles over 3 days to raise money for ALS research, 105-degree temperature. We did it anyway. In 5 weeks, you're going to be a gentleman of leisure. That's going to give you all winter into the spring to train for this. I'll send you the link. Registration's open. They moved it to the end of the last weekend in June to try to beat that 105-degree temperature, right? So I'm going to be in touch with you, and we'll have updates. Maybe we'll do some online training together, and we'll room together. Okay. All right? You heard it.
I'm game.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sure Dr. Eastwood is more than up to it. The question is, are you up to it?
That'll be my 8th one coming up.
I guess you
Number
are
8.
I will tell you, he's a much stronger cyclist than I am. So
This past year,
he's very good.
400 riders raised $890,000 for ALS research.
Wow.
$890,000. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Thank you, Mr. Crescenzo, for doing that. Any other board member comments? Mrs. Knapp? Mrs. Tobiassen, do you have your hand up there? Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Again, have a very nice Christmas, healthy and happy New Year, and a happy Kwanzaa. And Hanukkah's just finishing. And remember, we're meeting next January 17th. Yes. There you go. Look at that. Uh-oh. He's in his baseball mood.
Thank you. Good night. Good to see you all.
New York Yankee. Mr. Del Moro said he's going to be a partner in the team soon. He's going to partner with the Steinbrunners, buying into it. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to our tech department there, Russ, Mike, and Mr. Wilcox. And start working on that brochure, Bill. We're going to outdo anybody on it. And Will, thank you.